let me say something that's going to make a lot of people uncomfortable. If you're looking at a $500,000 house right now, there's a very high chance you can't actually afford it. Not the bank says no. Not you don't qualify. I mean, you technically get approved, you sign the papers, you get the keys, and then your life slowly turns into a financial pressure cooker. And nobody tells you this part. Picture this. It's midnight. You're lying in bed, phone in your hand, Zillow open. You're scrolling. Every house that doesn't look like it survived a natural disaster is $500,000. And what are you getting? Beige carpet from 2004, a kitchen that screams, "We gave up halfway." Fake wood paneling in the basement like it's still 1978. A backyard the size of a parking spot. And the listing says, "Perfect starter home." Starter home? $500,000 is a starter now? That's when it hits you. You start doing mental math. Okay, my salary is this. Taxes take that. Rent is this. And then that quiet thought creeps in. Am I behind in life? Or is something seriously broken? Let me save you time. It's not you. It's the math. And the math is absolutely ruthless. Let's strip this down to reality. Right now, in a lot of U.S. cities, $500,000 isn't luxury. It's normal. Denver, Austin, suburbs outside major cities, even places that used to be affordable. $500,000 gets you average. Now compare that to income. Median household income in the U.S. is around $84,000. So let me translate that clearly. We're asking people making $84,000 a year to buy homes that cost 6 times their income. 6. That's not a stretch. That's not a little tight. That's completely detached from reality. But here's where it gets dangerous. Because everyone around you is telling you it's fine. Mortgage broker. You're approved. Realtor. This is normal for the market. Social media. Just buy, bro. Real estate always wins. Family. We bought a house at your age. Yeah. When houses were 2 to 3 times income, not 6 times. Let's talk about the first barrier that destroys people. The down payment illusion. You've probably heard this your whole life. Just save 20%. Okay. 20% of $500,000 equals $100,000. Let that sit for a second. $100,000 in cash. Now compare that to reality. The median savings account in America? About $8,000. You're not a little short. You're $92,000 short. And people say, just save. All right, let's actually do that. You make $84,000 a year. Let's say you're disciplined, like really disciplined. You save 10% of your income. That's $8,400 per year. At that rate, it takes you 12 years to save the down payment. 12. And that's assuming no emergencies, no rent increases, no inflation, no life happening. And the biggest joke? Housing prices won't stay still while you're saving. So the target keeps moving while you're running. So what do most people do? They don't put 20% down. They put 5%, maybe 10%. And that's when you unlock a hidden penalty. PMI. The You're Not Rich Enough Fee Private Mortgage Insurance. Sounds harmless. It's not. It's basically this. You didn't have enough money, so now you pay extra every month. Usually $200 to $400 per month. And here's the part nobody says out loud. That insurance doesn't protect you. It protects the bank. You're paying money for protection. That doesn't even benefit you. Now, let's get into the real numbers. Let's say you somehow pull together $50,000. That's 10% down. You're left with a $450,000 loan. Interest rates right now, roughly 6% to 7%. Your monthly mortgage, around $2,800. That's just principal and interest. We're not even close to done. Now we add reality. Property taxes, approximately $500 per month. Insurance, approximately $300 per month. Maintenance, approximately $400 per month. PMI, approximately $300 per month. Now add it all up. You're at roughly $4,300 plus per month, and that's on a good month. Nothing broke. No surprise expenses, no chaos. Now, here's where things get uncomfortable. Financial advisors say you should spend no more than 28% of your income on housing. So let's reverse engineer that. If your housing cost is $4,300 per month, you need to make about $185,000 per year to afford this comfortably. Let's be more realistic. Banks allow up to 43% debt to income. Even then, you still need around $150,000 per year. Now here's the punchline. nobody wants to say out loud. Only about 10 to 20% of U.S. households make that kind of money, which means 80% of people cannot actually afford a $500,000 house. Not responsibly, not safely, not without risk. But people are buying houses. Yeah, they are. But let's talk about how. Some have dual high incomes, family money, inheritance, help with down payments, and some, they're hanging on by a thread. And that's the part you don't see. Let me show you what this looks like in real life. Meet a completely normal couple. Combined income, $160,000. Sounds solid, right? Upper middle class. Should be comfortable. Now, let's break it down. After taxes, deductions, retirement, they take home about $9,500 per month. Now, subtract housing. $9,500 minus $4,300 equals $5,200 left. Sounds okay? Let's keep going. Car payments, $800. Car insurance, $250. Gas, $300. Student loans, $600. Health insurance, $400. Groceries, $800. Utilities, $450. Now what's left? About $1,600. That's for emergencies, savings, kids, clothes, life repairs, everything. And here's the truth. That $1,600, it disappears fast. One bad month, and it's gone. This is where the stress starts. Not dramatic stress, not movie scene stress, real stress, the kind that sits quietly in your chest. You start thinking like this. Can I afford groceries this week? Should I delay fixing the car? What if something breaks? You start checking your bank account before doing normal things. And here's the worst part. These aren't irresponsible people. They didn't overspend on luxury. They didn't buy nonsense. They did what everyone told them to do. And still, they're one problem away from falling apart. Because the system doesn't care if you're comfortable. It only cares if you can barely survive the loan. And once you're in, you're stuck. You can't just walk away. You've got a mortgage, closing costs, a down payment on the line. Your credit at risk. So you stay, even if it's draining you. And that's how people become house poor. Not because they're reckless, but because the system normalized struggle. All right, let's go deeper. Because everything we just talked about, that's the clean version. That's the version where nothing goes wrong, nobody loses a job, nothing breaks. Life behaves perfectly. And if you've been alive longer than 5 minutes, you already know that's not how life works. Let's go back to that same couple. $160,000 income, $500,000 house, $4,300 per month housing cost. On paper, they're fine. Now let's watch what actually happens. Month 1, they move in. Everything feels amazing. New house smell, empty rooms. That quiet feeling like, we made it. They make the first payment. It's tight, but manageable. Month 3, reality starts settling in. They're cutting back. No eating out, canceling subscriptions, skipping small things. Still okay, just adjusting. Month 5, car needs brakes. $800. That wasn't planned. They hesitate, then put it on a credit card. Just this once. Month 7, summer hits. A C breaks. Repair quote, $3,500? They don't have it, so they finance it. Now there's a new monthly payment. Month 9, one income takes a hit. Reduced hours, or maybe a job switch, or maybe a layoff. Suddenly, they're short $500 to $800 per month. Now, everything gets tight. Not budget tight, survival tight. This is where the real shift happens, because now every decision becomes, can we still make the mortgage? Not, is this a good decision? Does this improve our life? Just, will this break us? And that's the trap. Nobody tells you this, but I will. A house doesn't just cost money. It changes how you think. You stop taking risks. You don't change jobs. You don't start a business. You don't take time off because you can't. You've got a $4,300 per month obligation chasing you every 30 days. You don't feel free. You feel owned. And here's the part people don't admit out loud. You don't even enjoy the house. You walk into your kitchen, and instead of feeling proud, your brain goes, this cost me everything. You look at your living room and think, I can't even afford to furnish half of this. You hear a weird noise at night, and instead of ignoring it, your heart drops. Please don't be expensive. That's not the dream. That's quiet panic. But society has done something genius and dangerous. It rebranded this stress as normal home ownership. Oh, you're house poor. That's part of the journey. You'll grow into the payment. Just wait. It'll get easier. No, let's be honest. For a lot of people, it doesn't get easier. It gets heavier because now you've got maintenance increasing over time, property taxes going up, insurance getting more expensive, life getting more complicated, kids, health, jobs, everything. And here's the part that should really wake you up. The system is designed this way. Think about it. Who benefits when you stretch? The bank makes 30 years of interest. The agent gets a bigger commission. The seller gets a higher price. The insurance company locks you in. Everybody wins, except you. There is zero incentive in the system for anyone to tell you, hey, this might destroy your financial stability. Because if you don't buy, they don't get paid. So the narrative continues. Buy now or be priced out forever. Renting is throwing money away. Real estate always goes up. Let's destroy that myth real quick. Renting is not throwing money away. You know what is throwing money away? PMI interest property taxes, emergency repairs you can't afford. At least with rent, your cost is predictable. Your risk is limited. Your stress is lower. But nobody flexes renting on Instagram. Nobody posts, just renewed my lease. So people chase ownership, even when it's financially suffocating. Let's talk about the most dangerous mindset. I'll figure it out later. This is where people lie to themselves. I'll get a raise. We'll refinance. We'll cut back if needed. That's not a plan. That's hope. And hope is not a financial strategy. Because when reality hits, you don't rise to your expectations, you fall to your financial structure. And if your structure is maxed out, you break. Now let's zoom out for a second, because this isn't just personal, this is systemic. Since 1990, home prices up about 400%, incomes up about 180%. That gap? That's where the pain lives. That's why this feels impossible, because in many ways, it is. So if you're sitting there thinking, why does this feel so hard? Why can't I catch up? Here's the truth. You're not failing. You're reacting to a broken equation. And once you see that, something powerful happens. You stop blaming yourself and you start thinking clearly. Now let's get practical. Because this isn't about fear. This is about control. What should you actually do? First, stop asking, what can I get approved for? Start asking, what can I afford without stress? That number is very different. A real affordability test looks like this. After paying housing, you should still be able to save money every month, handle emergencies without panic, invest for the future, live your life without constant stress. If your house removes those things, it's too expensive, period. Second, understand this. There is no prize for struggling. No one gives you a medal for being house poor, living paycheck to paycheck, stressing every month. You don't win anything, you just survive. Third, give yourself permission to wait. Maybe that means buying a cheaper house, moving to a different area, renting longer, building a stronger financial base. That's not failure, that's strategy. Because real wealth isn't a house you barely afford. Real wealth is margin flexibility, peace of mind, options. It's being able to say, I'm fine, even when life hits you. And finally, let me say this clearly. You do not have to play this game. Just because everyone else is stretching doesn't mean you should. Just because the market is crazy doesn't mean you should join the chaos. Sometimes the smartest move is stepping back, looking at the numbers, and saying, this doesn't make sense for me. That's not weakness, that's intelligence. Because 5 years from now, there are two versions of you. One is stuck, stressing about payments, trapped in a job they hate, one expense away from panic. The other is stable, saving consistently, investing, sleeping peacefully, making decisions from strength. The difference, not luck, not talent, not timing, just one decision. Did you follow pressure or did you follow math? And math doesn't lie. People do. Markets do. Sales pitches definitely do. But the numbers, they're brutally honest. So next time you see that $500,000 starter home, don't ask, can I get it? Ask, is this worth my peace of mind? Because at the end of the day, a house is supposed to give you stability, not take it away. If you understand that, you're already ahead of most people, and that's how you win. Quietly, intelligently, and permanently.